Hello, it is Trader Chat with Johnny Ward and Flynn Goward here on Star Sports TV. We have so much to get through today. The Kazoo Derby, the Oaks, Star Sports Greyhound Derby is finally upon us. We've had the Champions League final as well, obviously a surprise win for Chelsea there. So much else to get through as well. Shock developments in the French Open and the tennis as well, which we'll talk about. But let's get straight to it, Flynn. The Derby, this Bolshoi Ballet, he could be a superstar. He's really hardened up in recent days as well. Ryan Moore is going to ride him. And the second in from the same stable. How are you anticipating that the market is going to develop over the next sort of few days before the race itself, and what's the book looking like?
So I would imagine that Bolshoi Ballet is going to go off a really, really strong favourite for this year's Derby. He's the one that's showing the real kind of class angle, winning last time out when he just showed that lightning turn of pace off the last bend, and he's the one that the punters are really latching onto. In terms of the show of betting, so Bolshoi Ballet is 6-4, higher definition 9-2, Max Sweeney 13-2, John Leaper for over this side of the water is 15-2. Hurricane Lane 8-1, Mahafef 8-1 after that really, really good performance. I think it was over in Newmarket, Mahafef really caught the eye there. And then you're into double figures, third round 12-1, and then 16-1 by that's Van Gogh at 16-1. In terms of the anti-post book for us, Bolshoi Ballet is the big loser in the anti-post book. We had a decent size bet at 7-4. We've also laid a bit of John Leaper at 7-1. We've also laid high definition at the fancy prices. Obviously, we saw high definition coming out and winning last year, because Bolshoi Ballet has really taken his form to a next level this year. High definition at the fancy prices laid at 12-1 back in September, all the way down to 3-1 at the start of May. So that's where we're at in terms of the Derby. I can't wait for it on Saturday. Unfortunately, we're not going to be there. And it's not just that Derby this week. We've also got the Greyhound Derby starting. So we've got a week of Derbies kind of this week. But that is kind of where we're at in terms of the Derby. Have you got fancy for the feature on Saturday, Johnny?
I think the favourite will be extremely hard to beat. Yeah, I've kind of liked him for a long time. I'm not on a anti-post. I'm on a horse that doesn't run in the race actually, but I'll probably out of ignorance just back him on the day. I did talk to Aidan O'Brien not that long ago about tactics in the race, because I know I think he's like 5 or so left at the moment, but he didn't seem to think that, there'd be any issue with either of the two fancies in the race in terms of tactics, because we've seen the Derby can be a bit mad in recent years as well. It can throw up some surprising results. Bolshoi Ballet looks so straightforward to me. I think if they don't go any pace, it'll suit him down to the ground. If they go a strong pace, I think it'll probably suit high definition more, but it's not going to inconvenience him. I can't have Max Sweeney at all, to be honest. With the ground as it is, the 1.5 miles is a bit of a question mark, but he doesn't have any form on good ground that gives him a chance. So like he's, third in or whatever? Obviously the Frankel horse. Yeah. So John Leaper then is fascinating just on pedigree. Lovely feature with his trainer in the Race and Post over the last few days. But I could see him going off odds on. I actually could.
Really? I can't see him quite going off that short. I would imagine that the kind of big players will be after Bolshoi Ballet, and obviously the kind of smaller but recreational punters would also be after that one. Like you just said, I would imagine a strong pace will really suit high definition. I can see Bolshoi Ballet kind of doing a bit like, do you remember the Oaks where Pink Dogwood just kind of went for home and then got picked up by the big price one, didn't she? I can imagine that this race might be similar to that, and in the way that Bolshoi Ballet is going to really take the lead. It's whether he just lasts home. Whereas I could see high definition being that one that just grinds and grinds and grinds. So it'd be a fascinating watch anyway.
And say when you laid a good bet at 7-4, is that the sort of bet then that compels you to make it 6-4, or are you kind of following what the rest of the firms are doing?
I mean, to be honest, at this stage, you kind of do follow what the firms are doing now. Obviously, us being one of those, but we wouldn't kind of stand out a huge amount. It wasn't a huge bet to the fact that we'd say we have to be under this. Obviously, when you get further towards the day and after kind of final decks and all that type of stuff, you will just fall in line with the market, and then you just lay as it kind of comes in. But at the moment,
you'd be expecting big bets on the day as well.
I would imagine so. We always kind of lay the kind of bigger stuff on actual Derby day around showtime. So do stay close to our Twitter for any big bets, and we'll obviously be talking about it in the Trader Chat after the Derby.
Yeah, the Oaks Santa Barbara is 2s. I think she's divided opinion a little bit. We saw Shamie Heffernan. I think he was speaking to the Racing Post. David Jennings saying her homework, and I think Aidan O'Brien said as well. They were talking about her homework. Snowfall, who has been much more of a unheralded type, considering she was consistently beaten as a 2-year-old, but obviously very good in her reappearance. She's 4-1. Fiona's been well backed at 6, as then Zayada 13-2. Divinely 8-1, 10s bar. So this has a slightly more open look to it.
It does indeed, but I think the one we need to talk about is Divinely. I'm not sure if you saw this gamble last week. I had a call from our Mayfair shop last week saying we've got a punter in here who wants to bet divinely at 50-1 each way, and it was a decent sized bet as well, like a very decent takeout. So we did them the bet at 50-1, and then I'll probably turn around to watch checker about 5 minutes later, and I'm seeing 20, 22, 18, 16. I think, oh God, what's happening here? And then before you know it, it's a 14-1 shot. And like I said, when you've just done the show of betting there, it's 8-1 now. So Divinely must be showing something at home. There must be some real spark at Aidan O'Brien's for Divinely, because that has been the gamble of the race, and that can only give a bit of fear for the backers of Santa Barbara and Snowfall. When you see such a big price one, well bet. I think Divinely ran over at Chester, shaved pretty nicely.
It was at Lingfield, yeah. It was. She was quite eye catching, and it was her for obviously stepping up in trip, and she's really well bred as well, which I think. But she's a little bit like Snowfall in that. Like as a 2-year-old, she wasn't necessarily all that progressive, but she is by Galileo, and I've definitely doubts about Santa Barbara. I think she probably looked a bit inexperienced and a bit ill at ease at Newmarket, but others would question her sort of resolution, the way she carried her head. But certainly the 1.5 miles, this is a really, really demanding test for a horse that's raced twice over a good bit shorter. It's only raced twice. So I can certainly see where there would be an angle to take her on.
Oh yeah, of course. And I had the same feeling with Santa Barbara as Minding. When Minding went into the Oaks, I know Minding obviously went on to win the Oaks, obviously won the 1,000 guineas as well. But I have that same feeling of will they get a trip? Obviously, Minding just blew them away completely. But Santa Barbara, I do get that same feeling. Is the trip going to suit? But also, if you're thinking that Santa Barbara's been inexperienced and not shown a great deal over the Newmarket test, I mean, you're going around Epsom now. It's going to be even more difficult with the Canberra and Tannum Corner. So I wouldn't be confident back in Santa Barbara at 2-1, but all the money's been for Divinely. Just want to talk to you about some others that we've laid in the race. We actually laid Noonstar, who's now 11-1. We laid Noonstar slightly shorter just before she ran the last day. We've also laid Tiona, who's obviously the third favourite at 6-1. We laid as big as 22-1 Tiona back in February, all the way down to 9-1, now 6-1. So Tiona's been well bet. We haven't seen much for Santa Barbara, to be honest. So even though she is short price, I would imagine that she'll probably drift out on the day. You might be able to get a bit 5-2, 11-4 on the morning of. And I think that the money's probably going to still come for Divinely. They must be really sweet on there for this money to kind of come across the board. I know it doesn't take a huge amount of money to move these markets, but it tends to be significant when they are betting one from the same yard as the front two in the market, and it is a much bigger price. So they're both going to be great races, the Oaks and the Derby. I can't wait for them to get going, and I'm probably the most excited I've been for these two classics in recent years, I'd say.
Yeah, I think 2 fantastic races, and the Derby I think could have a superstar in it, and Tiona as well. I think a lot of people would like to see the likes of Tiona win it for Roger Varian, like on pedigree, completely bred for a test like this. You'd imagine that Snowfall form, she probably can reverse it. Just I'm just not sure. I think Snowfall might be a little bit flattered by her run the last day. I could definitely see her being usurped as second favourite at some point throughout the day. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic at Epsom. You're actually off to Brighton races after we record this.
I am indeed. I can't wait to get to Brighton, to be honest. I mean, the weather is absolutely unreal as well. So I can't wait to get out there, have a few beers. We only live along the seafront here, so we'll get a little Uber up. So it's nice to actually get an Uber to the racecourse, not have to muck around with trains and all that type of stuff. So yeah, can't wait to get up there. I've got one for you in the first, Johnny. I know this is probably going to go out after the race, but we can guarantee it's 9:37 in the morning here. So I'm not going to be after timing if it does go in. Big price, well, Run Forest Run. I thought would go well in the first of Brighton. Sure up last night.
Top weight.
It's bounced this morning out to 6-1, but I thought the Run Forest Run would go really well in the first of Brighton. So we'll be back in next week's Trader Chat to see that one and see how that performed anyway. But you'll be able to see me on the screen cheering that one home if it does go in the first anyway.
I'll have some of that now. Star Sports Greyhound Derby is upon us, and I've asked a good judge for a couple of selections. Night Tornado, Magical Arrow, fancy prices. Now, it is a very, very open race at Towcester, obviously. I think it's been double figures the field the whole way, but how is the book shaping up, and is the firm as excited as everyone else in the Greyhound world? Because we're going to have crowds back as well.
We are going to have crowds back, to be honest. I can't wait for this either. I mean, it's all kind of kicking off now with the classics. We've got the Greyhound Derby. It's all starting now. The Euro's going to be soon. In terms of the actual field at the moment, we're 14-1 the field. We were shorter last year. I think we were about 8 the field last year. This year, we're 14-1 the field, not the Belsid, New in session 16, Ballymac Aerial 18, Deerjet Sydney 20s, Native Maestro 20s, Night Tornado, who you've just mentioned, 25. Tenpin, I've seen a lot about Tenpin, is 25, and then Fawn Falcon is 25. And then we are 28 bars, so obviously a huge amount of dogs in the betting. We're a quarter 6 places in the Star Sports Greyhound Derby. In terms of the ones we've laid, so I'm just going to spin through a couple here. Coney Wonderland laid at 80s, now 50s, would be a big loser. Night Tornado, who you actually mentioned, laid at 40s down to 25s, would be a big loser. New In Session is the one at the front of the market who's been really well backed. Laid at 33s back in April, is now a 16 chance second favourite. Aussie Captain laid at 66 is now 50. And then the pre-event favourite, Not the Bold Sid, would be a small loser in the book, now the 14 to 1 chance. Lofty will be there every single round of the Greyhound Derby on the main pitch outside. On finals night, yours truly will be there amongst others. We've got 4 pitches on finals night, so we'll all kind of be down there then. We'll be giving kind of weekly updates on training chat as to how it's going. Are the losers being knocked out? Are the winners in the book going well? And we'll also give you updates from the track in terms of how we're going there. We've also priced up the Derby tipping challenge as well. So there's a tipping competition which we have priced up on site. Should get into the book here. Ian Fortune is 8 to 1 favourite, Ireland's very own.
Judge.
Admiral Bembo is 12 to 1, won it last year. Jason Beresford 12 to 1, Jonathan Kay 12 to 1, Paul Brown 12 to 1. Then we have 16 bar. Our very own Ed Dark, who is a senior trader here at Star Sports, also is now a Greyhound trainer. He trains a few dogs over here at Swindon. He is also in the market at 25 to 1. We've been speaking about it this morning. We thought he should really be a million because he's only good at picking winners after the result, Johnny. Ben Keith is in there at 50 to 1. He should be even bigger. You could probably stick another 0 onto that one. So the Star Sports challenge for the tipping competition is looking pretty thin on the ground, to be honest. I mean, Lofty's in there at 16. That'll probably be decent value, to be fair. But that's where we're at in terms of Ground Derby. Gets underway on Thursday, so do look out for that at Toaster on Thursday. We'll be up with all the prices close to the time. And we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, and then Friday, Saturday next week, and so on and so on, up until the 10th of July when it's the final.
French Open, obviously, well, how is that going? Big developments with Osaka obviously pulling out due to mental health reasons. Fascinating developments. And how has the market been so far?
Yeah, so I was kind of reading up on this yesterday in terms of the French Open and the kind of Osaka, not really scandal, but like the big news. And I think it's fair play to it, to be honest. I'm not sure about your thoughts on it, but
absolutely,
if she does struggle with that, then completely fair play to her that she doesn't want to go and kind of talk in front of people, especially if that's affecting her play. And I think that her raising the awareness and actually standing up and pushing back, saying, no, actually, I can't do this because something physically in my body is not allowing me to go and do it, and it's affecting my mental health, then fair play to her. I actually really, really respect it. In terms of the betting, we'll go to the women's and we'll just get the outright betting up here. Tournament winner, I'm never going to be able to pronounce this, Swiatek is 15 to 8, and Barty 4 to 1. Sabalenka is 11 to 2, and then you're 14 bar there. And then if we're just going to pop back over to the men's, in terms of the outrights, Nadal is odds on 5 to 6, obviously loves the clay. Tsitsipas has been the one who's been really well bet, actually, now 7 to 2. He's been the most popular pre-event because of the draw. He was drawn on a really good side, so he laid a good bit at 4 to 1. I think he shortened up from about 13 to 2 into 4s before the tournament started. Dominic Thiem was in the same half as him and would have been one of the big dangers, but he's gone out of the tournament already, meaning that Tsitsipas has shortened even further into that 7 to 2. We've also got an offer on the French Open, an in-play offer. So if you back a player to win this match, so this is on the men's, it wouldn't apply to the women's because they only play 3 sets rather than 5. So if you back a player to win this match and he gets 2 sets ahead and loses, we'll settle the bet as a winner as cash. So all T's and C's on the website there for that offer. We also had a pre-tournament offer, so half stake refunded as a free bet. If your player goes out before the round of 16, that's for outright bets up to 200 quid. But in play offer, we've got the 2 sets up offer. So if you go 2 sets up and get beat, then you'll be settled as a winner. We've also got that on certain football leagues as well as kind of a 2-good offer. So that is the French Open. That's where we're at the moment. Tsitsipas will be the one that we want to get beat, but that could all change come the end of the tournament.
So the Euros, obviously the big football tournament coming up. How did the Champions League final go as well? I imagine in general it was a good result, Chelsea winning.
Champions League final was a good result. We only really saw money from Man City. You got to think that when Man City were a price they were, I think they were 17 to 20. Punters were wanting to get involved. So in terms of the week as a whole last week, it was a really good week, albeit quieter. I think the nicer weather kind of changing over here, and then also being the end of the month, and we're not getting to the real good events until now. So it was a quieter week on the whole. The Champions League was a good result, albeit not kind of stellar stuff. But while we are talking football, I think we've got to go on to the Euros, obviously the huge event of the summer, along with the Olympics, which will be coming up as well. But in terms of the Euros, so the outright betting we've got on site: France 9-2 favourites, England 5-1, Belgium 6-1, 15-2 bar there. We've also got all the specials, which is what I wanted to talk about this morning. You'll know, Johnny, from when we do start before tournaments and leagues, we do these different kind of funky specials. We've got these all priced up again. So we've got the goal scored handicap. So penalty shootouts do not count in this market, but it's essentially who's going to score the most goals, but in a handicap form. So we've got England off scratch. I think we think that we are going to score the most. So we're off scratch at 16s. Belgium, we saw a little bit of money for Belgium at +1 at 16-1 yesterday. They're now 15-1. Spain +1.5, 16-1. France +2, 16-1. Germany +2.5. Italy +3, and so on. So there's a market to get involved in there. Portugal there +3 could be interesting at 16-1. I've seen a lot of kind of mull about Portugal going to go well in the tournament with all of their star players, obviously Jota, Ronaldo, and the like. There's so many of the Portuguese, Bruno. We've got goal contributions market. So this is goals and assists combined. So just 1 point for a goal, 1 point for an assist. Who's going to get the most combined? Harry Kane's favourite there at 11-2. Kylian Mbappe 7-1. Lukaku 7-1, Ronaldo 8-1, 14-1 Griezmann, 14-1 Bruno. Same with KDB, and then 16 bar.
Great markets these for an interest.
Yeah, loads of different markets to get involved in. Total tournament goals. So we've got these banded. Your favourite here would be 139 or more, actually. 124 to 128 would be 4-1, but we've got those branded, so you can cheer on the amount of goals. We've also got goal scorer pairs, so we've paired up two different players. So who's going to score the most between them combined? So Harry Kane and Gareth Bale, the Tottenham duo there at 9-2. Mbappe and Belotti at 9-2. Lukaku and Havertz at 9-2. Then we are 11-2 bar there. We've got highest scoring team. We've got top England's goal scorer. Harry Kane's 8-11 there. Then we're 13-2 bar with Raheem Sterling. So we've got so many different kind of specials markets to be getting stuck into in terms of the Euros. And when we get together next week, Johnny, we'll kind of spin through how the books are looking in terms of the Euros, what we've laid, what team we won't want to be winning, and we'll kind of go through that then. But that's all the specials markets. We've got a huge week ahead with Epsom. We've got the Classics. We've got the Greyhound Derby. The French Open's going on. And then we've got the Euros around the corner.
We got Run Forest running the first to Brighton as well.
We do indeed. Honestly, I think he's got a huge chance at around the 6-1 shot. He's going to love the ground, the extra furlong. It's going to be absolutely perfect for him. So do have a look for Run Forest running the first.
It's almost like old times. Enjoy your day at the races, Flynn.
Cheers, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening. As Flynn said there, this is a massive week, obviously with the Greyhound Derby starting, sponsored by Star Sports. But will the Derby at Epsom reveal a superstar, a real superstar in the shape of Bolshoi Ballet? And obviously, can Santa Barbara justify the hype in the fillies race? Fascinating times ahead. Some big bets to be had. Have some small or some big bets with the firm on some of the specials this week, by all means. And we'll talk to you next week.